We're going into lap 2 with the King of the Hammers race, and it's a tight one. There are 60 more miles to go, and there are a number of drivers in contention for the win.
This year at King of the Hammers, you see drivers from all different types of motorsports: short course off-road racers, desert racers, rock crawlers, and rock racers. Tracy Jordan, multi-time champion rock crawler. You bring that type of motorsports background to the King of the Hammers. How does that help you here?
God, it helps you a ton. I still believe it's one in the rocks. That first 60 miles when we were done, I mean, it just beat you to death. First 30 miles is all desert, and I was thinking it might possibly be one in the desert. And by the time we hit the rocks, that last 30 miles, there's just no way. It's still going to be one in the rocks.
How do you set up your rig? I mean, is it more set up for the rocks? Is it more set up for the desert? You see a lot of these rigs out here kind of got crazy setups on them.
Yeah, this is still primarily a rock crawler. It's a really lightweight car, but I think we're going to take our time a little bit more. We're going to hammer down trying to get to the rocks. Outer Limits is the first rock trail. We want to get there, you know, in the top 10 and then work our way through the rocks. I think we can get by, you know, 3 or 4 guys in the rocks.
Eyes of experience will certainly help him get through it quicker than everybody else. Gary Farimonte, though, covered lap number 1 quicker than everybody else, 2 hours, 47 minutes. Shear in second, and then Shannon Campbell rounds out the top 3. Greg Adler down there in 5th place as he hangs on into the top 5. Lap 2 begins, and let's take you to the Outer Limits. We heard him speaking of it just a moment ago. And again, you can see this is exactly where it really separates a lot of the machines. And yeah, use your head, go around as much of that stuff as you possibly can.
All depends on your direction of travel, so to speak. And you'll also notice that we're watching right here, and some machines have just a driver, while you look at the machine right behind the Monster Engine machine that has a driver and a co-driver, which, by the way, will also be trying to help you manipulate those rocks, but in this case, had 2 trucks go around them.
Tony Pellegrino currently in 4th place, and another great look at this equipment. And these things have a lot of technology inside of them. Tracy Jordan as well. Look at the rear steer on that. They can also operate the brakes individually to help them make turns around obstacles. It is really cool stuff, especially if you take a look inside. They have a lot of options. There's a lot of technology. And then, of course, there's good old horsepower if you want to get out in the rough stuff and make a pass on somebody.
And that's what you need when you're out in the open like this, man. You need the power, baby.
And in comes Shannon Campbell. Campbell was telling his crew over the radio just prior to coming in that he has some guys on his bumper. He said, I need a new left front tire. I need a bottle of water. I want you guys to check out the drive line. And it looks like they have got this thing buttoned up. Campbell's going to get dropped down courtesy of the big crane, and he should head out back to the race course.
And pretty cool there, you can see the lift, because it's very difficult, first of all, to use a jack that is high enough to even get up to the rig, of course, and get it up in the air. Second of all, you're trying to jack something up that's very heavy in the dirt. So their way around is to use a strap and a crane.
Combine that all with the fact that the shock travel itself can go as much as 20 inches or more in some cases. And it is very, very hard to change a tire. So you just flip that strap under there, grab it at the lower control arm, lift it up, and change the wheel and tire, and you are back on the road once again.
Welcome back to Lucas Oil on the Edge. We've been looking at this unforgiving terrain all day, and I think the King of the Hammers promoters had a little fun with it by naming some of the key spots in the course. Some of our favorites include Chocolate Thunder, Aftershock, the Devil's Slide, and Outer Limits. Let's get back to the action.
All right, let's talk about a different location on this track. It's called Jackhammer Canyon. Another very difficult place to get through. Take a look at the rocks and the boulders in here. Any number of them can ruin your day in a moment's notice.
And just about to ruin some right here. Again, the approach that you take is very, very crucial, very critical. I think it's pretty cool. You got a great big group of rocks, and you got a big plaque, and it's named after Jackhammer, you know?
Jason Schur in first place, but now is in trouble. You can see he actually has the winch tied down to the front as well as he's trying to get through that obstacle. Shannon Campbell currently in second place and has rolled right up there as well. So it looks like Campbell has closed in on the leader. Now keep in mind, Campbell is by himself. Most of the other competitors have somebody to help them just in case they get in trouble like this. But Shannon Campbell does not.
And listen to the fans. He's obviously one of the crowd favorites.
And that's another way to get it done right there.
I said earlier you wouldn't hear that very often, But look at this.
This is a pass for the lead right here, ladies and gentlemen.
They are actually still unhooking the other machine, and it's still not unhooked, and there goes Campbell. And again, listen to that crowd. Obviously, one of the most popular areas for the crowd to gather is right here.
And of course, to win this event is second to none. We heard these competitors earlier talking about it. I mean, everything has to go right. There's a million things that can keep you from winning this thing, but there's only one way to win it, and it is so difficult. So Shannon Campbell right now in the catbird seat.
That's exactly where he wants to be as we take a look at Tony Pellegrino. He's currently running the number 4 spot.
The machines that we'll see racing here at the King of the Hammers are truly custom. The Torchmate Racing team with JT Taylor behind the wheel have truly developed a very custom machine, JT. This number 13 is pretty bad to the bone. What are some of the features that you guys made in-house to make this machine so special?
One of the coolest things about this new car that the crew at Torchmate put together and built in-house and did a lot of the work on our 2x2 and 2x4 plasma tables is the front end, the front twin traction beam. It's a new design that we took from Ford and made it better. Moved the pumpkin over to the right side, made it all out of chromoly. It was done on SolidWorks, tested there, then put together in mild steel, tested that way, and then taken all back apart, cut on our tables, and assembled in 4130 chromoly. We had 5 guys working on it solid, and we worked several straight through nights, so just thousands and thousands of man hours, and cubic dollars thrown at it too, so it was a lot of work.
Yeah, not uncommon to find these things running in the $250,000 to $350,000 to get one. Let's go back down to Rob, who's at Spoons Canyon.
Well, guys, when we look at this King of the Hammers course here for 2011, a few changes. One thing that is new to the course, a trail that was blazed for the first time back on New Year's Eve of 2008. It's called Spooner's Canyon. Now, the story there is 2 off-roaders looking for another trail actually got lost and broke down. Fortunately, they were rescued the next day. The trail gets its name, pretty funny, because the pair kept warm overnight by spooning together in sub-freezing temperatures. So you got to do what you got to do out here in the King of the Hammers. And guys, I know that you will be spooning if need be.
Oh,
I don't know about that.
We're not there, but it's nice
warm here.
Nice to know that Rob's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can see standing on the throttle right there, working their way through Spooner's Canyon. Back out to Shannon Campbell, who's in first place. And talking about standing on the throttle, man, he is making tracks now.
Well, he's no big newcomer to this deal, and he definitely knows his way around it. And his game plan is working exactly the way he planned it. And right, like you said earlier, he's right in the driver's seat, right where he needs to be.
Methodical, slow. You have to take care of the equipment here. You also have to get over the obstacles. Sometimes you have to stand on the throttles. We saw Shannon Campbell do earlier. The idea is to try and miss some of those sharp points, and they use the sidewall of the tires as much as they use the footprint of the tire. As we go back to Craig Adler in the 4-wheel parts machine.
Can you really imagine, though, honestly, after going through so many of these obstacle parts of this thing, how physically tough it can be on you? Man, I don't know if I can do it or not.
The king will be crowned when we come back. Stay with us here at Lucas Oil on the Edge.